Aisha woke to the rooster's crow. The sun, a fiery ball, rose over the vast desert. It painted the sand dunes in hues of orange and gold. Her village, a cluster of mud huts, bustled with life. Women cooked over open fires. Children chased each other, their laughter echoing through the morning air. Aisha loved her life in the village. She loved tending to her father's goats, their soft bleats music to her ears. She loved listening to her grandmother's stories under the starlit sky. But her peaceful world was about to shatter. One afternoon, the sky turned a menacing black. Gunfire erupted, shattering the afternoon calm. Her peaceful village transformed into a scene of chaos and terror. Armed men stormed through the village, their faces contorted with rage. Aisha's father, his eyes filled with fear, grabbed her hand. "We have to run," he shouted, pulling her along. They fled their home, leaving everything behind. The night was dark, lit only by the distant glow of fires. Aisha and her family ran until their legs ached and their lungs burned. Fear, like a shadow, clung to them. They hid in the thorny bushes, the air thick with the smell of fear and smoke. Aisha shivered, clutching her mother's hand. Her heart pounded in her chest, a frantic drum against her ribs. The other villagers, their faces etched with terror, huddled together. They whispered prayers, their voices trembling. The journey was long and perilous. Days turned into nights, each one colder and more frightening than the last. Aisha missed her home, her friends, her life. The laughter of children playing, once a familiar melody, now echoed only in her dreams. They walked for days, their journey taking them across a sea of sand. The sun beat down mercilessly, turning the desert into a furnace. Hunger gnawed at their bellies, thirst parched their throats. Aisha saw many fall along the way, their bodies too weak to continue. She saw mothers carrying their children, their faces etched with despair. She saw the light of hope fade from their eyes. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached a makeshift refugee camp. Tents patched together from scraps of cloth and plastic, stretched as far as the eye could see. The camp was overcrowded, a sea of desperate faces. Life in the camp was harsh, the days were hot, the nights cold, food and water were scarce, and disease spread like wildfire. Aisha spent her days waiting in endless lines, her stomach growling with hunger. The camp, though offering refuge from the violence, felt like a cage. Aisha yearned for freedom, for a place to call home. She clung to the hope of a better future, a future where laughter would replace fear. One day, whispers of a distant land, a land of peace and opportunity, reached the camp. They spoke of a place called Canada, where children could go to school and families could rebuild their lives. Section 5. A flicker in the darkness. The news of Canada spread through the camp like wildfire, igniting a spark of hope in the eyes of the refugees. Aisha listened intently as aid workers spoke of a land with snow-capped mountains and sparkling lakes. Aisha dared to dream. She dreamt of a place where she could sleep without fear, where she could learn and grow, a place where her family could finally find peace. The selection process was long and arduous. Aisha and her family endured endless interviews, their hearts pounding with a mixture of hope and anxiety. They clung to each other, drawing strength from their shared dream. Finally, the day arrived. Aisha and her family were chosen for resettlement in Canada. Joy, like a ray of sunshine, broke through the clouds of their despair. They embraced each other, tears of relief streaming down their faces. The journey to Canada was long and tiring. Aisha sat next to the window, her eyes wide with wonder. She watched as the landscape below transformed from vast deserts to lush green fields. As the plane touched down in Toronto, a wave of excitement washed over Aisha. She stepped off the plane, the cold winter air biting at her skin. It was a stark contrast to the scorching heat of her homeland, yet it felt exhilarating. Aisha's breath caught in her throat as she witnessed her first snowfall. Snowflakes like delicate feathers swirled around her. They landed on her outstretched palm, melting instantly. The world around her was a pristine white, a stark contrast to the dusty browns of her village. Everything seemed new and magical. The air, though cold, felt clean and fresh. Aisha and her family were welcomed with open arms. Volunteers greeted them with warm smiles and friendly hellos. They were taken to a cozy apartment, a far cry from the crowded tents of the refugee camp. Aisha started school, her heart filled with a mix of nervousness and excitement. She struggled at first, the language barrier a formidable obstacle, but her classmates, kind and welcoming, helped her bridge the gap. Slowly but surely, Aisha began to find her footing in her new home. She learned English, embraced Canadian culture, and discovered a passion for ice skating. The sound of her laughter, once silenced by fear, echoed through the park. Aisha never forgot the horrors she had witnessed, the pain she had endured, but she refused to let the darkness of the past define her present or future. Years passed. Aisha blossomed into a bright and confident young woman. She excelled in her studies, her mind hungry for knowledge. She volunteered at a local community center, helping other newcomers find their footing in Canada. Aisha's story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the power of hope to bloom even in the darkest of times. It is a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable adversity, the human heart has an incredible capacity to heal, to forgive, and to love. From the dust of Darfur to the snow of Canada, Aisha's journey is a beacon of hope, a testament to the indomitable spirit that resides within us all. It is a story of loss and displacement, but ultimately it is a story of resilience, courage, and the enduring power of the human spirit.